What's going on, everyone? Ronin here, and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little while since I posted one of these, but I've been working on some other things in the background, so this one got pushed to the back burner for a while. But they're going to start coming back regularly at the first of the month. But before we get into today's episode, we got to shout out to Patreon, which is Dell and Silva. Thank you very much for the support. And let's also not forget, engagement is very important for the channel. So you guys know the drill. Take a look at the analytical stat bar right here, and please drop a like, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that way you'll never miss an upload. Ever since I started talking about this, it's really become something that the channel has started to see growth in, which I want to thank you guys very much for. But with all that being said, let's get into What If I Wrote the Pokemon Anime, Part 11. I hope you enjoy. We begin today's episode with Ash as he is walking down a rough path in the middle of the woods. And the only reason he was able to find this was because he had come across someone on the beach that was able to give him directions. The old fisherman warned that he would want to get off the beach as soon as possible, as the waters around here are polluted with the poison type Pokemon known as Grimer and Muck. Ash found this out the hard way as he first ignored the old man's warnings, only to be attacked by the living slime. Luckily, he had found the path that he was looking for, that he was told would lead him to a major city, the one of Fuchsia. However, Ash is Ash, and without the guidance of Misty and Brock, he has found himself in the thick, overgrown brush of the forest, eventually resulting in him having to bed down for the night inside of a tree hollow for warmth. The next morning, as the sun's rays peek over the mountain, Ash begins his day looking for any signs of human activity. This goes on for hours until Ash is on the verge of giving up. He hasn't even seen a Pokemon all day, and is worried as dehydration is starting to set in. However, things quickly change as Ash sets his eyes on what he thinks to be a mirage at first, but upon closer inspection, it's revealed that what he sees is a real Pokemon. More importantly, something known as an Oddish, and it just so happens to be walking in the direction of not only a source of water, but what seems to be a giant house in the middle of the forest. Ash is overcome with emotion, rushing to the pond in the front of the massive house as he sticks his head in the water, gulping down as much water as his mouth will physically let him. However, this happiness is quickly interrupted when Ash is picked up off the ground, only to be faced with a very angry Pokemon, the grass-type Bulbasaur. Our hero yells for the toad to put him down, to which the Mon simply replies with a stern bark of its name, almost to say it's not happy with Ash being here. Squirming about, Ash realizes that he's not going to get loose, so he takes the only action he can, sending out Butterfree and ordering a gust that knocks Bulbasaur into a tree and freeing Ash simultaneously. As the grass starter connects with the massive oak, it lets out a cry that alerts someone from within the surrounding forest. Before Ash knows it, he's hit with a tackle from behind as Butterfree tries to warn his trainer. However, it's too late as the boy tumbles into the pond that he was just drinking from. Now burning with a rage that causes steam to expel from his clothes, Ash demands to know what is this Pokemon's problem. However, as he looks around, he sees two things. One is the Bulbasaur that Butterfree took care of, who is currently knocked out underneath the tree at it. The second thing is another Bulbasaur, looking at him very menacingly, slightly larger than the other one, with a girl clad in ninja attire right behind it. The girl demands to know why Ash has come here, accusing him of being a part of the group that tried to rob her house earlier in the day. However, Ash lets out a primal growl of frustration, scaring the girl. It is important to note that this is not solely because of her that he is angry, but the frustration of everything since the SSN that has happened. Yelling at the girl that he's no thief and she's the one who's in the wrong for attacking people with no cause, Ash lets out everything in this outburst. This causes the girl to argue back that she has no way of knowing who this boy is, and it's odd that he would just enter someone else's house uninvited. Ash points out that he never entered the house. He only took a drink of water from the pond. Well, it's still rude, the girl says, realizing that she may have overacted. However, Ash isn't going to let her slide on this, as the rage of the moment has taken over him, telling Butterfree to use Gust on them for a little payback. Realizing that she may have bitten off more than she can chew, the girl orders her Bulbasaur to counter with Razor Leaf. However, the Gust is too strong, and the leaves are pushed back. The ninja girl realizes that she'll have to try more overt tactics, telling Bulbasaur to take to the trees. Not wanting it to get away, Ash orders a confusion from Butterfree. However, no matter how many times the attack is fired, it misses, causing the frustration of our hero to build. This is when Bulbasaur is able to get the upper hand, using its Vine Whip to bind the bug, slamming it into the tree. The thud of the sound is enough to wake up the other Bulbasaur as it looks over watching the battle. Now angrier, Ash orders Butterfree to use confusion on the whole forest. If they can't hit one thing, then they will hit everything. This is a cause for concern, as a pulse of psychic energy radiates from the bug, kicking the grass starter from its treetop perch. This hits for a great deal of damage, causing Bulbasaur to be stunned briefly. This is where the ninja girl begins to freak a bit, as she is scared that the boy is going to hurt her Pokemon. However, Ash orders Butterfree to stop. This is over. I hope you understand that I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm lost. The other Bulbasaur watches this, beginning to form an opinion on this trainer. However, this is all interrupted when the stunned Bulbasaur begins to glow in an evolutionary light. This is where we move to the inside of the house, in a room that is hidden from plain view. In it, a man stands in ninja attire as he addresses someone on the monitor. This happens to be the regional champion, Giovanni. Master, these people claim that they work for us. They were captured by my daughter when they were found breaking into the gym. The boss Rocket takes one look at the trio and realizes who they are: Jesse, James, and Meowth, who are currently gagged and bound. Giovanni says that they were assigned to Surge to hunt one of our projects that had escaped, but it seems the lieutenant has gone rogue once again. Koga, I want to know what happened. You need to debrief them at once and report all of your findings to me. The fuchsia leader acknowledges this order. Master, I will immediately, but it's here that an alarm goes off, signaling Koga to a problem. Telling Giovanni he has to go, Koga swaps views to outside as he sees his daughter engaged in a battle with a boy, and it seems she is doing poorly even with her newly evolved Ivysaur. Turning to the three bumbling buffoons that are tied at his feet, Koga tells them not to go anywhere or try anything. He will be back to deal with them once he figures out what is going on outside. The man then leaves the room, closing the door behind him as Jesse, James, and Meowth sit there, bound and incapacitated, unable to do anything besides watch the actions of what happens outside on the monitor. Now we change views to back outside as Ash and Butterfree have re-engaged with the battle between the girl and her new Ivysaur. However, this battle isn't because the girl chose it. Now that her Ivysaur has evolved, it seems to move past her capabilities as a trainer, as the mid-stage evolution refuses to listen to her whatsoever, and this can be seen when she gives it orders to stop, but the grass type refuses to, even with Ash commenting that she needs to get better control on her Pokemon. Unfortunately for the grass starter, it is still at a major disadvantage, as Butterfree is able to overpower it with another set of gusts, sending it sliding back into a tree once more. However, it wasn't enough to knock it out, and Ivysaur is preparing for another attack. Ash tells Butterfree to be ready. They're going to intercept it once it makes its move. However, this battle is quickly brought to a halt when a set of kunai are thrown into the ground between the two Pokemon, separating them once and for all. In the tree above the duo stands a man clad in ninja armor, demanding to know what is going on here. The girl in the ninja armor immediately addresses the man as father, telling him that Ivysaur had evolved and then she lost control of it, to which the man addresses her as Janine, stating that her discipline is weak, so the command of her Pokemon will be weak as well. Now, recall Ivysaur before any more problems arise. Doing so, Janine hangs her head, as she feels slightly embarrassed having to be saved by her father. And this is where the gears in Ash's head start turning, as he thinks, Janine, where have I heard that name before? Wait, didn't you go to Professor Oak's summer camp a few years back? This is when Janine pulls off her mask, revealing who she is. Wait, you're that kid that wouldn't shut up and kept causing a fight with that other one. What was your name? Ash. You were so annoying. What are you doing here? The two begin to argue, but this is quickly shut down when her father jumps down from the tree, demanding that Janine be quiet. She has embarrassed the Fuchsia Gym enough today. Wait, Gym? Ash says, puzzled, to which Koga turns to the boy, confirming that this is indeed the Fuchsia City Gym. Are you here for a battle? Koga questions. Well, this must be my lucky day, Ash replies. I wasn't looking for a gym battle. I was lost in the forest trying to find my way to Fuchsia City, but it just so happens I found the gym, so I guess I'm going to have a gym battle. Koga looks the boy down with an intimidating glare, contemplating this statement. Normally he would challenge trainers with a full 6-on-6 battle. However, he has things that his master has ordered him to do, dealing with those three bumbling buffoons, so he's gonna have to make this quick. Alright boy, you want a battle? Then I, Koga, leader of the Fuchsia City Gym, accept your challenge. We will have a 2-on-2. Does that sound suitable? Which Ash quickly acknowledges, telling Koga that he accepts his terms. When can they begin? Turning, the man tells Janine to lead the way as they head inside of the gym. The Fuchsia Gym leader informs Ash that it is just him and his daughter at the facility today, so she will have to be the judge of their battle, if he is okay with that, to which Ash confirms that he has no problems with. Very well. You will be allowed substitutions in our battle, while I will not. Our battle will conclude when one side is out of Pokemon. Do you understand all of the rules? Koga inquires, to which Ash nods as they enter the room of the battling area. Very well, young man. Take your position. and I will take mine. Janine, you are to call this match straight down the line. If for whatever reason someone is unable to battle, then you call it. Yes, father, the girl says as she takes the judge podium, telling the two to present their first combatants. As the Fuchsia City gym leader, Koga sends in the first Pokemon that Ash has never had an encounter with before. A bug type known as Venomoth. Utilizing his Pokedex, considering he doesn't have Brock and Misty here to give him some pointers, Ash quickly learns that this is a bug poison type, so he knows he's gonna have to be careful. However, much like a boy with a new toy, Ash wants to try out the newest member of his Pokemon roster, declaring, Squirtle, I choose you! The tiny turtle Pokemon emerges from the ball as the flags for their first round are waved by Janine. Wanting to test the boy in his ingenuity, Koga gives Ash the first command, to which our challenger does not waste, as he orders Squirtle to use a Skull Bash. The water starter rushes in, aligning its neck with its head so that way it can create maximum impact when it collides with Venomoth. However, Koga isn't going to give it the chance, as he orders one simple move, a Silver Wind. Venomoth begins to beat its powerful wings as Squirtle struggles against the gust of wind. Unfortunately, the water starter isn't powerful enough to charge head-on into a Maelstrom, and it's overtaken, being sent careening back into the gym wall. And if the loss of their first exchange isn't enough to add insult to injury for Ash, what happens next will be, as Venomoth glows in a slight blue tint, signifying that it got some sort of stat raise from that move. Koga notices this and smiles, however Ash is too concerned with Squirtle double-checking to make sure it wasn't just taken out in one hit. However, the tenacity of the tiny turtle Pokemon is going to be shown here, as it gets back up, almost like it didn't even take any damage. That's the way Ash says, I know you can do it, Squirtle. Let's try this again. Use Water Gun. Firing the most powerful jet of water that it can from its mouth, Squirtle begins to douse the surrounding area, trying to hit Venomoth. But unfortunately, due to its flying capabilities, it is able to easily gain altitude, dodging all of the attempts from Squirtle, only to cause frustration for Ash, as Koga quickly counters with a Gust attack that tears its way through the burst of water and strikes Squirtle once again, sending it careening back into the gym wall. However, this time, Ash is ready for this exchange, as he tells Squirtle to use a withdrawal to raise its defense and protect it from any serious damage. Tucking itself in, Squirtle hardens its shell and its body, as it makes a brief thud off of the gym wall, far less impactful than the one previous. However, this whole motion has sparked an idea from Ash, as he confirms that Squirtle is alright, to which the tiny turtle Pokemon pops back out, giving a brief call of its name before it's ready to engage in its next set of battles. However, Koga is growing tired of this. It's only been 2 exchanges now, and the boy has been unable to cause any damage to his moth, so he intends to have Venomoth finish it on the next exchange. Luckily for the gym leader, he won't have to wait long, as Ash orders Squirtle in with another Skull Bash. Yet, once again, just like before, Koga counters with another Silver Wind that is much more powerful than the first, as Squirtle is easily overtaken by the attack, being sent towards the gym wall once again. With the speed and power behind the jettison of the turtle, Koga feels confident that this battle is over. However, this is what Ash was wanting, as with Venomoth's wings slow the rate of speed and the Silver Wind dies down, Ash orders Squirtle to use a Water Gun but aim it at the gym wall. Doing so, the water starter is able to slow its rate of speed and then slowly stop before repelling it back in the opposite direction towards Venomoth. This is where Ash uses this element of surprise to fire off a Skull Bash, just like he had ordered before, striking Venomoth for the first time in this battle. And because both Venomoth and Koga had let their guard down at the thought of this being over, there really wasn't any time to put up any type of defense, taking the attack a little bit more head-on than the bug type should. Ash begins to celebrate as if he had just won the battle because he finally got a hit on the Venomoth. However, his hopes are going to be quickly dashed when Koga reveals his next move, ordering a supersonic from his bug type. Suddenly, an ear-piercing screech echoes throughout the battle hall, as Squirtle can do nothing but withdraw into its shell in an attempt to avoid any of the damage that it's causing. At first, it seems like the countermeasures worked, that is, until Squirtle ejects itself from its shell, only to reveal that it can barely stand straight. It's wobbling around the battlefield. Ash gives it a command for a Water Gun. However, the tiny turtle Pokemon only attacks itself, causing free damage for its opponent. Ash doesn't understand what's going on here. However, Koga is able to quickly elaborate for the boy, telling Ash that the supersonic confuses the target of the move, and Squirtle wasn't quite able to get out of the way in time, so now it's going to have trouble listening to your commands. At first, Ash doesn't want to believe Koga, ordering Squirtle in with another Skull Bash. However, Venomoth doesn't even have to do anything, as once again, the tiny turtle Pokemon succumbs to its confusion, smacking its head against the wall, finally getting the point across to Ash that this battle is going to be a little bit more difficult than he thought it was going to be. Realizing that he's going to have no other choice, Ash recalls Squirtle for now to break the confusion and to give it a little bit of time to rest. That Venomoth is far beyond anything that Ash thought was capable, so he's going to have to play this next one smart, and while he feels feels like Butterfree would be a good contention here, Ash knows that it already battled with the Bulbasaur and the Ivysaur, so he's gonna let it rest. Luckily for our hero, he does have something else that would provide a type advantage over it, as he declares, "Charmander, I choose you!" The fire type emerges from its Pokeball with a brief call of its name, signifying that it's ready to start the battle. The one thing that Koga has noticed here, that like this trainer, all of the Pokemon that he's chosen seem to be relatively young. While they may have experience, it doesn't look like he has the full capability to bring out the power at this current time. So, needless to say, he's feeling pretty confident about Venomoth's ability to end this battle and get this gym challenge over with quickly. So, with the wave of the flag to start the next battle, Koga takes the first move, calling for another Supersonic in an attempt to repeat his previous play. However, Ash is wise to his plan, and he doesn't intend to let Charmander succumb to the same fate as Squirtle did. So, in order to beat the Supersonic at its own game, Ash orders Charmander to use a Fire Spin, but not to fire it directly, to actually spin while the Fire Spin is being launched. This creates a unique attack pattern that blankets the battlefield, preventing Venomoth from actually getting its attack off, as it is forced to flee lest it be caught in the flames. However, luckily for Ash, and unluckily for Koga, the moth isn't quite fast enough to evade the fire type attack, and it ends up getting caught into it. As Ash tells Charmander to turn on the heat, the fire lizard's tail bursts with flames as the fire from its mouth increases in intensity. The heat begins to rise as the gym is imbued with flames. Before long, the fire begins to die down, revealing a very unconscious Venomoth as it lies on the ground, cindered with spirals in its eyes. Realizing he was a bit overconfident going into that, Koga takes full responsibility in that loss, recalling Venomoth before considering his next option. Ash does the same, as Charmander was able to give him his first win, so he wants to try and save it as long as he can, considering it's going to be a secret weapon if he hopes to beat this bug-type gym. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, that Bulbasaur that Ash had battled earlier on in the day is sitting on the sidelines by itself, staring Ash down, making the boy quite uncomfortable, as he feels like it's going to try to attack him again. However, Ash doesn't have any time to worry about this, as both parties are ordered to choose their next Pokemon. For Koga, he gives the command for his ace, Pinsir, while Ash declares, "Squirtle, I choose you," in hopes that it's had enough time to rest, and that the confusion has completely worn off. Both combatants emerge from their balls, ready for the orders of their trainer, as Janine waves the flags for this next altercation. Knowing that Squirtle lost all of its stat changes by being recalled, Koga orders Pinsir in with the Vice Grip in order to get an early lead. However, Ash has had an experience like this before, telling Squirtle to withdraw, knowing full well that Pinsirs have limit to their power. What follows is a stalemate between Squirtle and Pinsir, as both trainers give consecutive commands for Vice Grip and withdrawal, until a cracking sound can be heard. One of them is about to give way, which, to much to the surprise of the gym leader, Pinsir's teeth slowly begin to chip at the hardness of Squirtle's shell, causing Koga to order Pinsir for a release before any major damage happens to its Vice Grips. Pinsir, in a show of aggression, throws Squirtle in the direction of the gym wall, in an attempt to cause whatever damage that it can to the tiny turtle Pokemon. However, as Squirtle is released from its grip, Ash orders a water gun that is able to connect with point-blank force. However, this is going to have a nasty side effect for our hero's water type, as Pinsir does take the water gun full on. The power from its water blast is enough to send it hurtling towards the gym wall, knocking it out in the process. A bit sad that Squirtle couldn't get the job done, Ash recalls it, thanking it for the effort that it put in, to which Bulbasaur takes note, and so does Ash, as the grass type stares him down stoically once again. However, for the time being, he shrugs it off, as he has to win this gym battle, declaring, "Charmander, I choose you!" Emerging from its ball, the fire lizard readies itself for its next encounter, as the flags are waved for the final exchange of this battle. Koga, knowing that he won't be able to use Pinsir's anymore, decides to take a more direct approach, ordering the Stag Beetle in with the Brick Break. As the bug type's arms begin to glow, Ash can see that he's going to have to mount some sort of defense, so he orders Charmander to counter with the Metal Claw. At first, the fire lizard is able to meet the bug type on equal footing, as it brings the fighting type move crashing down into the Metal Claw. However, this is only superficial, as the motion carries with it the full weight and size of Pinsir that is able to quickly overpower Charmander, driving it into the gym floor, which appears to result in a one-shot from the ace of the gym leader. As the small cloud of dust that was left in its wake subsides, Ash calls to Charmander to see if the fire lizard is able to continue. For a brief moment, it looks like Ash may have lost this gym battle, until a brief and subtle cry comes from within the rubble, as Charmander slowly begins to shift, standing back up on its own 2 feet. "Are you okay?" Ash asks, to which the fire type confirms, even though it's going to have a bit of a headache from that last exchange. "Well, I have to say, Ash, while your Pokemon may not be that powerful, they do have guts. I'll have to give them that. But I can promise you, we're going to end this in the next exchange," Koga states, as he orders Pinsir to get in with a seismic toss. The bug rushes in, quickly grappling around Charmander Charmander, securing the grip as tight as it can around the fire lizard. Then, before Ash knows it, Pinsir takes to the air, jumping as high as it can. Ash can see that they aim to drive Charmander into the gym floor with all the force they can possibly muster. Thinking fast, Ash has Charmander do the only thing that it can do, telling it to use a fire spin. Heeding the call of its trainer, the fire lizard once again lets out the most powerful fire spin that it possibly could from its gullet. That envelops both of them as they fall back to the gym floor. Pinsir begins to wince and shudder in the pain from the fire type attack, loosening its grip for a brief second, allowing Charmander to wiggle free as it continues the onslaught from the fire spin. Pinsir begins to squirm so much that the rolls are reversed when Pinsir rolls mid-air to be the one that is on the bottom, as Charmander uses all of its weight to push off, sending the bug type careening into the gym floor below while it's still aflame. While Pinsir got the worst of that attack, Charmander still lands pretty hard as it's unable to stick the landing with its own 2 feet, hitting the ground with a thud. What follows is a struggle as the 2 Pokemon of both trainers begin to make their way back to their feet. However, just as they both stand up and look each other in the eye, Pinsir doubles over, passing out from the intensity of the attack that it had just taken, giving Ash the win. Koga, being a stoic, reserved individual, merely shutting his eyes, while Janine looks on in disbelief. The same as Ash. He actually did it. He won a gym badge without the help of Misty or Brock. However, his stunned silence is interrupted when Koga approaches him, presenting Ash with the soul badge. He tells him that he fought with honor, and he and his Pokemon should be proud that they were able to take victory today. Ash looks at the hand of the gym leader, still unable to believe that he was actually able to obtain one of these gym badges himself. He slowly reaches for the gym badge before celebrating with Charmander, as they both did this together. It is here, for the first time since Charmander joined Ash's team, that it truly feels like Ash is its trainer. The young boy believed in its strength and its ability to win, and together they were able to claim victory. The fire lizard hugs his trainer with tears in its eyes, to which Ash doesn't understand where this well of emotion is coming from. However, it's contagious as the boy begins to sob as well, causing both Janine and Koga to get uncomfortable at the situation. Now we flash to a few minutes after Ash has been able to collect himself. Him, Koga, and Janine are standing outside of the gym. Koga is informing the boy that if he continues to head east from their current location, he should be in Fuchsia City by the time he reaches nightfall. Ash once again thanks the gym leader for the battle and apologizes if he caused any trouble by wandering onto their land unannounced. Koga tells him not to worry about it. Things like that happen, and mistakes can be made, but as long as there was no ill intent behind them, then there should be no ill will between anyone. However, this can't be said for everybody in the group, as that same Bulbasaur is giving Ash that eerie look that he was giving him during the gym battle. Now, a little bit uneasy, Ash decides that it's time to part ways, hurrying off as he waves goodbye to Koga and Janine, wanting to put as much distance between him and Bulbasaur as possible. However, Koga looks down to the grass starter and says nothing but gives it an intense stare. And this is where we are going to leave things for now. So tell me, how did you feel about this part? What did you think about Ash's gym battle with Koga and how it turned out? Do you think that Ash is finally starting to show progress in being able to stand on his own as a trainer? And what about Jesse and James? What exactly were they doing at the Fuchsia City gym? And of course, where's Misty and Brock? And are they okay? And how about that Bulbasaur? What's its deal with Ash? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Alright trainers, I hope you have your Pokédexes ready, because today we met Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Oddish, Grimer, and Muck. And that's all we had for today's video. I really appreciate you guys stopping by to watch all the way to the end, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. If you guys really enjoy my content, consider following me on some of my other platforms like Discord, where you can get to know other people who are interested in what ifs, or on Twitter, where I post sometimes behind the scenes updates. Or if you want to help the channel grow a little bit extra, why don't you consider donating like the people right here have, as whatever you could offer could help us get to a larger audience by helping us get new videos done, or some of the projects that we've been working. Custom art is getting kind of expensive, so we want to make sure that we have the funds to do that. But with all that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed everything, and I will see you in the next video.